How's everybody tonight? Thank you. Thank you for coming here tonight. It means a lot to us. We were in Saratoga last night, and I said I wasn't going to get choked up, but it's different when you come home. It really is. It's very humbling, and it kind of takes a few seconds to just kind of catch your breath and get going, but it means so much to us to come home and be welcomed like we are. So thank you very much. Our program, we have to be careful because y'all live the escape. You guys were here. I'm not going to tell you anything about living in northern New York. Y'all live in northern New York. I'm not going to tell you anything about what it was like to live during the escape. But we're going to talk about all sorts of different things that we went through to put this project together. Penny's going to read you a little bleep out of the book, which gives me a second to just kind of catch my breath again and we get going with this program. The biggest thing is a lot of people came in and bought books tonight. So the last thing I want to do is read anything to you fine folks, and all of a sudden you're going to go, oh gee, why don't you read that myself? So how many people here have ever been in a prison? I know there's oh wow, didn't realize you guys were all that bad. Okay, that wasn't. Mark that off the questions, that we should not ask that question anymore. Wow. Okay, you guys. While we call the troopers, stand by. Okay, so, but a lot of people have never been in a prison. So we picked a little passage, Penn and I did, that we felt would, if you've never been in a prison before, we want to get you there. So, my wife, Penny.
I'll never forget the day I entered the Clinton Correctional Facility for the first time. It was 1988, and I was a rookie prison guard. The veteran guards would say I was still shitting academy food. It's where they sent me to start my on-the-job training. The solid steel door is blank, except for a tiny window and a worn handle. It looks like it weighs a ton. That door slamming behind me made a thunderous sound of steel on steel, like nothing I'd ever heard before. The hair bristled on the back of my neck as I realized I was inside until someone let me out. Even for those wearing the state's blue uniform, no amount of training can prepare you for that feeling. I wasn't in Kansas anymore. Once inside, I quickly felt something in the air. Prison has energy. I sensed it immediately. Prison also has a smell. Clinton is older than most prisons. It opened 172 years ago. Its aging masonry walls have seen hard labor, one-on-one fights and mass riots, fires and death. Death from all causes, natural and not. Inmates and guards have been murdered, and of course, there were the executions. All of this leaves behind a smell. Its ingredients include blood, smoke, body odor, tear gas, gunpowder, mixed with the damp, musty stink of stone and concrete. Clinton's unique smell doesn't go away. Everything that happens within the wall's confines stays there. You can't just open a window and air the place out.
Welcome to Dannemora. Okay, who's Charlie Gardner? I see a lot of people that know me, but there are a lot of people here that don't have a clue as to who the heck is this guy and where is he coming from. So, started my career in corrections in 1988. Brand new rookie prison guard. First thing they do is they send you to the closest maximum security prison in your neighborhood. Clinton Correctional was that facility. That was what I felt when I walked into Clinton Correctional for the first time. I was like, wow, whew, this is quite an experience. I don't care how much training you had, I don't care how big you are, how tough you are. it was surreal when you walk in there. There's a lot of prison guards amongst us, and I look to those guys and I'll ask them the same thing, and it's hard to admit it, but when you walked into the jail for the very first time, it got your attention. That's for darn sure. Went up through the ranks, was a sergeant, promoted to a lieutenant. Lieutenants we're watch commanders. We oversee the facilities, afternoon shift, midnight shifts. We run the places. We're the cats that make the decisions. You got 30 seconds or less, you make decisions on whether or not people live or die. If you got a yard that's tipped over in these different maximum security prisons, you've got to make the right decision so you don't get staff hurt. A lot of responsibility goes into it. A lot of training goes to get you there. This business is for real, without a doubt. After I got done doing the lieutenant thing, I actually got called up by Albany and I ended up being promoted or appointed to, it was an appointment, to what was known as a regional training lieutenant. I was one of 4 lieutenants that held that position in New York State. I oversaw the training of the 13 facilities in New York State, the Watertown hub and the Clinton hub. So I had approximately 6,000 staff members, both security as well as civilian, that I was the guy that oversaw their training, make sure that the training was appropriately done, make sure that our numbers were where they needed to be. I acted as a liaison between those facility administrators and the Albany Training Academy. So as far as prisons go, I have basically been in and out of about 23 different prisons in the state of New York. Actually physically working in probably half of those throughout the entire 25 year of my career. So with regards to who I am and where do I come from as far as an expertise, I've kind of been there, done that, and seen it for the most part. So I was able to bring that aspect when we wrote the book. I was a local, just like you were. We experienced the same thing that the locals did. I know we've got some people that aren't really from the immediate area, but I'm not going to tell you anything in there that you didn't already feel. You didn't already know. We all went through the same thing. We share a lot of those stories for people that are in California that are reading the book tonight, type of a scenario, because they don't know what we went through. They don't know how we live up here in the North Country. So we wanted to bring that aspect as well. So that's where I'm coming from. The tough part is this. When you get into the meat and potatoes part of the book, and as we were signing books and we came in early because we knew we had people coming in early, it was kind of neat because a lot of people were like, oh no, I heard that this happened. And I'm like, I want you to know that we put a lot of time, energy, and effort into this program. Into this book, into the research, into confirming what's in that book. We foiled everything, we did the interviews, we talked to a lot of people. Some of those people are here tonight, which is really kind of neat for you, that you get to see them. We're going to tell you a lot of different stories, and it's pretty cool, but I really think we've got it. I think we've got every one of the T's crossed, I think we've got every one of those I's dotted. So, if you thought you knew the story, by the time you're done reading the book, I'm hoping that I've got a lot of stuff in there that you didn't know, and that's what we're hoping. Okay, so at this point in time, with regards to social media, there's a lot of pictures going on. I see we're running cameras and stuff. Post anything you want on social media. There were bookmarks that we were giving out. If you did not get a bookmark, please get one off that table before you leave tonight. Join us on Facebook. We'll keep the conversation going. Let me know how you like the book, please. I answer most all of you. So I need a full-time social media person, you know, just to keep up with it, trust me. So that's who I am, that's where I'm coming from. Why did I write the book? I'm being asked that question all the time. I was in a position at the time as a local judge, as a representative from living in the North Country, as someone that had had an unblemished 25-year career in corrections. And I sat there and I was watching the media, and the media was just getting it wrong. And they were missing big stuff. And I'm going, How can you miss the big stuff? You're definitely getting the little stuff screwed up, but you're missing big stuff. All right, and I'm looking for the guy now. Charlie, where'd you go, man? There you are. Okay, so here's one of my favorite stories. All right, and please, let's talk. Okay, don't just say, I'm not gonna do all the talking all night, trust me. Okay, I can, but I'm not going to. That's my wife, enough all the talking. Okay, so Penny and I are walking the dogs down the road, and this car comes down. This is after the escape. The dust is kind of settled. And this guy identifies himself as Thomas Palmer. He's a professor out of SUNY Albany. He writes for the Albany Times-Union. He teaches journalism at SUNY Albany. And he has this poster. And the poster is the front page of the New York Daily News, late June. It was on their website first. And then it came on to the front page of the mega newspaper, New York Daily News. And the caption, exclusive photo. Oh boy. Last known photo of Richard Matt and David Sweat. Exclusive photo. All right? I love it. So, and it shows these two guys walking through the North Country, carrying long guns. And there's this one guy with this short hair, little stocky little bugger, you know, and he's got himself, looks like a shotgun. And there's this other tall guy, a little bit of stuff going on here. And man, where did that photo come from? The federal authorities have, they're like a game camera, like us hunters that we have. Federal authorities have these, they're like a game camera. And the federal authorities during the early morning hours had gone up in the Moody Road area, in the Porter Road area, and they had installed these cameras throughout Franklin County when they knew that these guys, Sweat and Matt, were in the neighborhood. And they were trying to catch images of these guys making their way wherever they were. So the cameras were strategically placed in a whole bunch of different places. Well, it just so happens that one of the residents on that Moody Road, Porter Road area was awakened by 2 o'clock in the morning as his dog was going nuts because the dog sensed that somebody was outside. So that next morning, him and a neighbor, good friend of his, they decided that they were going to go take a little trek and kind of check their neighbor's camp and make sure that they didn't have a couple of uninvited guests. And of course, like everybody else in June, you weren't wandering over there with a baked goods or, you know, a little sixer to have a beer with the boys. You were going over there carrying long guns and prepared to go to battle. They triggered one of those strategically placed cameras. Now, technology today is wonderful. Say again. Go ahead, Charlie.
It's not fine.
No! I'm getting to it. Instantaneously, come on in, folks, you're fine, come on in. Instantaneously, the camera takes this image of these two guys, you know, walking through the grass in this meadow with long guns. What kind of a response did we get? 2 helicopters, a couple bus loads of CERT guys. I think we had 6 K9 units go up past my house on the Porter Road. And,
guns and guns and guns.
oh man, they had guns, huh? They had guns. And a couple days later, this photo, of course, is leaked to the media. I don't know how that happened, but some federal agent kicked it to somebody in the media. And on the front page of the New York Daily News is this exclusive photo. Richard, Matt, and David Sweat before Matt was shot and killed. I would like to introduce to you, Charlie. David Sweat, he is not. I had a sergeant, when this was all starting to unravel, I saw the troop cars going by and I'm like, oh boy, I see the helicopters buzzing. This is going on a couple hundred yards in my backyard where these guys live. And I talked to the zone sergeant who was setting up perimeter in front of my house. And I'm like, what do you got, Sarge? I introduced myself to him. And he goes, well, we got a confirmed sighting. We got these 2 killers that carried long guns. They're in the backyard. And I'm looking and I'm going, Sarge, don't shoot my neighbors. I'm not sure how many months it took New York Daily News to take the photo off their website. But it was the distribution was gone. The paper was out there. In the book, if you open up to where the pictures are, I think you're going to find a picture of Charlie and Eric, my neighbors, looking at the New York Daily News and laughing their asses off. So if you thought you knew the story, we've got a lot of twists and turns that you haven't seen yet. So, but it's kind of there's a little bit of a pucker factor there, huh, Charlie? When they're hanging out of the helicopters and kind of pointing guns down at you, those semi-automatics. Barrels are really this big, aren't they? Yeah, it's quite an experience.
Especially when Eric wouldn't stand still, he kept running around.
Yeah.
I was standing still, and I'm saying, Eric, sit still. And he said, no, they think those guys are here. You can't bring those guys. Stop it. I know they had to have a red dot on him the whole time.
Bob and weave, Eric, they'll never get you, right?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Crazy.
Well, it was at least a month before it came down off of that, and then the only way that it did get taken down was we got interviewed by an editor from the...
With Tom Palmer.
No, not Tom. This is down in New York City.
Oh, okay, sorry.
The New York Post.
Yes.
They called and interviewed and stuff, and they're the ones that threw the picture in their into their
paper, yeah,
paper,
yeah.
And finally the others said, "Okay, we'll take it down."
Yeah.
But it's a very surreal feeling having a helicopter right above you with automatic.
Welcome to the Northern New York, yeah. So, yeah, it's different. The luxury that I had was being a North Country resident. I knew of those stories. I knew where to find these guys, and we took the time. We chased down John Stockwell, who brought that search back here. We had worked with John Stockwell in the different facilities. John Stockwell is Twisted Horn when you get to the Twisted Horn chapter in your book. And we knew John. We went up to Twisted Horn. We interviewed John up there. And to listen to his revisiting the story. John's going to be with me Saturday over in Plattsburgh when we do the book signings next weekend over in Plattsburgh. He's going to hang out with me. I try to bring one of these guys in and all these different things, so you don't have to always listen to me. You can kind of get it a little bit more firsthand. It tells for a better story. But John will be with me over in Plattsburgh if all goes well. So that's what got me upset. That's what got me twisted, was where are they getting this stuff from? You know, and there was a tremendous amount of misinformation out there. So that's why we end up writing the book. The writing process. Anybody here ever written a book other than the fine Dr. Martin? Mary. Fun, isn't it? Oh my God. If I only had known I was getting myself into. Okay, I came up with this brilliant idea. So I bounced it off a very dear friend of mine. And I said, oh my God, they're getting this wrong, and this is crazy, and someone needs to tell the story, and some of these guys are really good guys, and these inmates are really terrible people, and the story needs to be told. How can I do that? So I go to a guy that I know that's written a number of books. And I said, how do I make this happen? So he goes, well, and he walks me through the process. And he tells me what to expect and how to go through the process of writing a book, and you can self-publish or you can look for and shop for a publisher and go from there. So I talked with the fine Dr. Martin, Calvin Martin, my dear friend in the back row. And we have, stay right up there, Calvin, stick with me. Come on, no, don't get out of it that easy. So, no, you're fine where you are, but we're going to talk now. So, you don't think I invited you just because I wanted you to share dinner with me, do you? I'm not that kind of guy. But anyway, so Calvin and I have these conversations, and we end up, long story short, we create this manuscript. And so I've got this raw manuscript, and I say to Calvin, okay, what's my next step? Where do I go? And Calvin and I have this discussion with regards to editors. Calvin, would you like to tell the story from there? How we ended up with going around and looking for our editors.
Well, we found for Charlie, and I scoped him out initially, and I think we came down to 2 or 3 finalists, and I've been in the writing business for many years, and I suggested, Charlie, I think you should choose this one. And Charlie very gently said, no, I think I should choose that one. Charlie, what do you know that I don't know? He was right. He chose the right one. So what does a developmental editor do? Works very closely with the author in refining the manuscript. And Charlie worked with this gentleman for a year.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. More than probably a year and a half. Yeah. It was quite a while. Yeah.
And came up here, scoped out everything, and it's Charlie's book, and he wrote it. I read various drafts of the manuscript and the notes and so on, and actually. And he gets a lot of credit as well. I do not. I simply looked over his shoulder, and I was his cheering squad. But I've got to tell you, I'm a retired Rutgers professor, written a lot of books, won book prizes. I've trained graduate school students, given people PhDs and so on. So I've really been in the book publishing business. And also now as a publisher, we have a small imprint of our own. But you're looking here, some of the book. This is a miracle. I got to tell you this. It's a miracle that he was able to do this. I'm not impugning him in any way.
That's why I love him.
How many people want to write a book? Just about everyone in America. And they are working on it. Okay? But and then you need to get a publisher. Again, I've won prizes. I wrote the best book in American history in 1978 from the American Historical Association. Had a good Guggenheim Fellowship. I can't get the publisher. Think about that. I used to have a hotshot literary agent in Manhattan, George Borchardt Agency. They dumped me because I don't sell enough books. He got on his own. I don't know how the hell he did it. He got a top-notch Manhattan, not Albany, not Syracuse, not Chicago or San Francisco, Manhattan literary agent that I would give this arm, right arm, for. I had one and he dropped it. He got it. And then the agent got this publisher. And this publisher is the premier publisher in North America of true crime stories. He has the perfect publisher. And notice it's not Random House, and that's good. Random House would remainder this within a year. Remainder means they dump it. Because they have tremendously high expectations and they don't put much advertising into it. publishing is a tricky business. He got a publisher who's putting a tremendous amount of money into advertising, promoting, and so on, and will keep it in print. That's a problem with publishing with what are called trade presses, commercial presses. They remainder you real quick. In my case, I always pick for the university press because they don't remainder you. It's very hard to publish with a trade press, any trade press. He got one of the best, and he got one of the best agents. I'm scratching my head on the way.
So I keep on telling Calvin,
how did he do this?
This is your fault, just so you know. Calvin, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So let's go back to, thank you, Calvin. So let's go back to John Meyer. So Calvin and I kind of banged these three different names around. One guy was from New York, one was from Toronto. John Meyer was the guy that I looked at his work. And I said, John Meyer's my guy. And Calvin's going, oh, geez, kid, you don't know what you're talking about. Jesus, I'm trying to help you here. You got to help yourself a little bit. I'm like, I'm telling you, Calvin, this is my guy. I want to go with John Meyer out of North Carolina, Wilmington, North Carolina. He was a newspaper editor. So we make contact with John Meyer. And I said, John, I introduced myself. I pitched the book to him. And we go out, and I say, John, I would like you to come up here to Northern New York. I want to show you the lay of the land. I want to bring you to Clinton Correctional. I want to show you the escape route. I want to just give you the tour. John Meyer comes up here. Now here's this gentleman, takes the train up from North Carolina, comes up into Malone, New York. Can only imagine what he was going through his head. So I bring him to Clinton Correctional, bring him through Clinton County, show him the escape route, because in the book we identify the entire escape route. So if you live in town of Malone, Burke, Trout River, Constable area, ooh, you might be interested to see where these two escaped inmates were walking and wandering around. So anyway, we come out of Clinton County, go down the Standish Road, and we come on the Wolf Pond Road from Clinton County side. Anybody ever been in that way from the backside? Yeah. Yeah, it's a one-lane goat path, great big rocks. And so here's this southern gentleman, prim and proper, you know, pretty tight. Got to be careful. This is a GP crowd, but pretty tight. And I'm bringing him down the Clinton County end of the Wolf Pond Road, and I could just, his eyes are just. They're just getting big. He's hanging on to my old crap handle on my rig, and the truck's just rocking and rolling, and we're crawling at 3 miles an hour, and single lane road. And I know my radio wasn't on, but it was blaring. There's no doubt in my mind that was the song that was playing. Yeah, and this guy is going, where is this guy taking me? And am I ever going to be seen by human contact ever again? We finally cleared the Wolf Pond Road. We made our way to the assorted places that were burglarized, that these two escaped inmates had gotten supplies, moved on. John spent a week with us. Oh my gosh, we worked from 7 in the morning till 7 at night, easy. And then we'd separate and work our own stuff and then come back the next morning. And we did this for a week solid. And then we just kept on pounding on this project. They say in life you're like 6 people away from the next guy you need to make contact with. John Meyer was that connection for me. And how did I end up with Kevin O'Connor? Kevin O'Connor was a literary agent out of New York City. Kevin O'Connor worked for Charlotte Sheedy Literacy Agency. Charlotte Sheedy is the mother to actress Ali Sheedy, Breakfast Club. Okay, so Kevin worked for Charlotte Sheedy Literacy Agency. So John Meyer belonged to a group of editors that all do the same thing. They were newspaper guys. And one of them was a published author. And John kind of showed the manuscript to him saying, hey, I got this kid in Northern New York, and he's got this project about the 2015 escape. I'd like to have you take a look at it. Your agent. He goes, I can sell this book for you, man. He goes, I'm telling you I can do it. All right, talk's cheap. Let's make it happen. So we went to work. And Kevin had us do some more work on the book. We tweaked a couple of things that he wanted to see done. And he was going to pitch it to a half a dozen different publishers. And he goes, the way this process works is simple. He goes, I've got my, oh dear God, wish list right here. And he goes, we're gonna start with those guys. And if they don't nibble, that's okay. Don't worry about that. We'll pitch to the next half dozen. And we're just gonna keep on pitching it until we find somebody that wants to buy your manuscript. So Kevin pitches to the first 6. 2 days, my phone rings. Hi, Kensington Publishers here. One of the 2 top publishers of crime in the United States. You definitely have the wrong number. Michael Hamilton here. I'm an editor with Kensington Publishers. Charlie Gardner, she goes, I love your book. I'm going, wow, how did we get here? Now, I had researched Kevin O'Connor, and I'm like, when you Google Kevin, he writes the nicest rejection letters. I don't know, I never got one. And how, I don't know. But we end up with Michaela. Michaela calls me with Kensington, and she says, I've read your book. She goes, let me tell you a little bit about me, and let me tell you a little bit about Kensington Publishers. She goes, we're the top 2 in the United States for publishing true crime. She goes, did you ever hear of Donnie Brasco, she says. So she goes, Donnie Brasco was the name of an FBI agent who infiltrated the New York City Mafia. And Donnie Brasco, his real name, Joe Pistone, wrote a book when he retired. She goes, I was the editor for Joe Pistone. She goes, Charlie Gardner, you've got the next Donnie Brasco. She goes, and we want you. 2 days. So this has all been a whirlwind. It's very humbling. We get published. Deadlines are crazy. We push out this book, the manuscript, and we're working. We're taking little vacations, Penny and I. We're driving to Florida. This is the truck. We're driving to Florida. Penny's got a laptop desk, and she's doing this as I'm going down the road 78 miles an hour. And we're writing a book. We're tuning a book. We get down to Florida. I'm in the pool with my legal sheets, and I'm hand cranking chapters, and Penny's typing along the pool. We never had a day off. We never took a day. Every single day we ate, drank, slept, and worked on this project for 3+ years to kick this out, do the research, to chase down the different stories, to confirm or delete the information. And you've got the product there. How we got to where we are now is the most humbling thing I've ever been through. I'm like, oh my God, how did we get here? And that's the story. It's crazy, but that's the story. So it's quite a ride, quite a trip. So then Kensington signs me, they give me the contracts, and oh my dear God, you need 3 attorneys just to go plow through that stuff. And you have to establish social media. Does everybody here do social media? Facebook and all that? Who doesn't? Let me do it this way. Who doesn't do social media? Yeah, we're the minority, right? There's like 10 of us in this room. If you look around, there's like less than 10 hands with it. Okay, so now I'm working with Kensington Publishers, Kevin O'Connor. I'm getting this project ready to go, and Kensington's like, okay, now you have to be on Facebook, you have to do Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram. I'm going, what? What's that stuff? So December 1st, I get on Facebook. Woo! Where are you, Linda? You're here somewhere. I was talking to you. So Linda was up here earlier. I'm going, December 1st, I got on Facebook. Well, that was an experience. So what I do is I contact a good friend of mine who I know is a Facebook junkie. They eat, drink, sleep Facebook. So I'm like, okay, how do I do this? You know, get me there. Let me, you know, help me out. Friend me. Become my friend. Hope that wasn't ugly to say that, but anyway. So she kind of helps me out. So I said, oh, okay, well, that was pretty easy. So I'm like, brave. So within hours, I get this friend request from this guy. Lives in Lake Placid, has written many a book about the Adirondacks, retired from the U.S. Customs and Border Patrol, Border Protection guy. So I'm looking at it because they told me, be careful that you don't get some knucklehead, you know, to send you a friend request. And I'm looking at him going, okay, well, he seems harmless. He's retired federal, lives up southern end of the county, has a couple of books about the Adirondacks. Boop, friend. 4 hours later. 4 hours later, I'm getting these friend requests. To see more nude pictures of me, click on this. And I'm going, oh my God! Oh my God. One common friend. This knucklehead up in Lake Placid. Boom, delete. So Linda and I are carrying on this conversation. And of course, I'm brand new, as I said, to Facebook. And people that have been doing Facebook now, you're going to go, oh, the guy, you wrote a book? So I handle a lot of my social media from my smartphone, which is obviously smarter than me. So I'm going through it, and I call them fat fingers. Bing, bing. I roll it back, and it says like. Oh, good, I just liked some of my own stuff. Nuts. So, you know, early morning, I'll be in the living room, and Penny's just coming out of the bedroom from sleeping, and all of a sudden she'll hear that, nuts! Oh, let me guess, you like yourself? So I'm telling Linda, I said, you know, I'm scrolling through this stuff, like, and I'm like, I've done it again. Linda goes, well, you just touch it again and it will go away. Great, thanks a lot, Linda. So that's where that's my story. That's how I got there. All right, we're getting close to dinner. I want to get a little bit of time for you guys to talk now. I've talked all night. Enough of me already. Law enforcement. I see you guys here. Would you stand up, please? Retired or current law enforcement, stand up. That's correction officers, that's troopers, that's village police. This is their book. This book is dedicated to law enforcement. Without these guys or the people that they've worked with, we wouldn't have had the ending that we've had. There's no doubt in my mind. This is your book. Enjoy it. Okay? Question. I don't want to get into what's in the book because I don't want to ruin it for whoever hasn't read it. Anybody have any questions? Anything you want to ask me? Martha.
When that guy showed you the picture of the, mat and sweat running across the field, did you recognize them?
Absolutely, I knew. You look at these guys. You couldn't get any. Look at it. I'm looking at this, and I'm looking at Professor Palmer, and I'm going, really? He goes, yeah, do you know who they are? And I'm like, hell yeah. He goes, well, can you tell me how to get to them? I said, no. I said, these guys don't want to talk to you. I said, I'll tell you what. I said, give me your contact information. I'll get a hold of them. And if they want to talk to you, they'll make contact with you. And that's what we did. And that's what the guys did. But yeah, I'm like, yeah. What else we got? That's it, Martha?
I've seen your reports at work. I'm just wondering how you pulled this off.
First of all, Rick, okay, had you been here earlier when Mary was talking, you would have known the answer to that question. She said I was a very hard worker. I said, obviously, she's got her Charlies mixed up. I'm going back to her original answer. What else? What else we got? I should have known better than to ask.
John McConnor, your agent, was he the organized crime reporter for the Daily News?
Ooh, I don't know that much about him. John's been doing the that agent thing for a long time. He did children's stories for years. If you had a children's book, John, he was the guy. Or excuse me, Kevin.
Yeah.
You said, yeah, I'm sorry. Kevin, no, that's okay. Click. I was clicking through the name and I'm going, no, that's not the right name. But yeah, he did children's stories for years. Then he moved into this new thing that we were doing, so, but great guy. Again, we were published by Kensington. December 13th, we get, prior to December 13th, we get contacted by Kensington Publishers. Charlie, are you available to come to New York City? For what? Penguin Random House. You ever hear of Penguin Random House? Penguin Random House would like to have you come down and be one of 5 presenters with a new book. Okay. I said, we weren't published by Penguin Random House. Why published by Kensington? Why does Penguin Random House want me? And Calvin kind of touched on it. You know, Penguin Random House is huge. They just want you. So we agree. Penny and I go down to New York for, I don't know, almost a week, and we do this event at Penguin Random House. We walk into Penguin Random House lobby. It's almost the size of this room and probably a little bit taller. And it's just glass cases. If you go to our website, glass cases filled with books that Penguin Random House has published. Everything from Dr. Seuss to War and Peace. And you walk in there and it's just, oh my God. And you're just looking at this wall of books on both sides of you. They usher us upstairs, and I'm going to be one of 5 authors to talk. So we're all new authors. So they have 2 lovely young ladies on one side of me, 2 lovely young ladies on the other side of me, and I'm the rose in the middle, right? Don't say anything, Joanna. I see you thinking. So we all had a little 10-minute, 15-minute opportunity to pitch our book. The first girl is introduced by Penguin Random House, who published her. She gets up, New York Times bestselling author, writes for Cosmopolitan magazine, da-da-da-da-da. She pitches her book. I'm going, ooh, thought you were a brand new author. Oh no, this is her 5th book. Second author, introduce her, New York Times bestselling author, writes for Cosmopolitan, 4th book. She does it. Third person, A Gardner from Northern New York. I do my pitch. Kevin's like, nailed it, I did great. The last 2 girls go up. They're all New York Times bestselling authors. So when we're all done, I say to Kevin, why are we here? I asked Michael Hamilton with Kensington, why am I here? And I don't have the answer to that today. What they told me was they wanted a piece of you because they think this might go somewhere. So that's the best answer I've heard yet. If you didn't, I was a token male. Yeah, I don't know. But that's better than what they've given me. The whole experience has been surreal. It's been surreal just to be here with you fine folks. And like I said, post anything you want on Facebook. Enjoy the book. Mary, thank you on behalf of myself and Penny. Thank you for having us tonight. I don't know what else to tell you fine folks. Questions? I know you got one.
So thank you for your service, first of all.
Thank you.
What was the most challenging part of writing the book? Was it refuting the rumors, disputing them, and proving the facts?
The rumors were brutal.
Or was it speaking to the people who were involved that had first-hand knowledge? Because were people afraid to talk, or did they?
For me, because I was talking to locals, I was talking to Bobby Willett, I was talking to the Browns, I was talking to the Gokies, I was talking to Johnny Stockwell, who I worked with, I was talking with Steve Brissett, Jay Cook. I was talking to people that I knew or I had crossed paths with. So for me to talk to those guys, I could find them. I know where you live. So that was the easy part. Knowing what the story was with regards to correction, that was the easy part. I did 25 years. The hard part was the rumors. And I've got people here that are going to read the book and going, well, the guy's a knucklehead, he doesn't know what he's talking about. He's got that wrong. And trust me, we confirmed it. We dug hard. There's a lot of rumors and a lot of misinformation out there. We just wanted to get the real story out there. And that was my sole goal, was to get the real story out there.
Did you talk to Ben Stiller, though?
Absolutely not. Absolutely. Yeah, he should. I wouldn't have talked to him. I wouldn't have entertained them for a second. I knew exactly what the agenda was, and I'll put it in a nutshell for you. Steve Reset, Superintendent, Clinton Correctional, 30+ years in corrections. Steve Brown, Deputy Security, Clinton Correctional, 30+ years in corrections. Donnie Quinn, First Step, 30+ years of corrections. Over 100 years of service between those three gentlemen. And they asked to shut that facility down, and New York State's bureaucrats down in Albany said no. Ben Stiller calls up New York State and says, I'd like to film a movie inside Clinton Correctional. And you know what New York State said? What days would you like to be in the yard? And they shut that facility down to allow filming crews and that crew to go in there and film multiple times. Why did I write a book? Don't get me started. I know you're hungry. You don't want to listen to that soapbox. Donna, what do you got for us?
Yeah, my question was going to ask if you had to deal with any of the politicians. Would you have to answer this question?
We'll be audited in a week. I had somebody ask me that earlier today. We'll be audited in a week. There's no doubt in my mind. It's going to get ugly before it gets done.
Charlie, does the book tell us the timeline of when they escaped and when they...
I give you all the dirty details. Yeah. If you work for corrections, don't bring it to work, whatever you do. It might be a career ender, especially if you're looking for advancement. I'll tell you that right now. But yeah, I give you all the timelines. You're going to read stuff in there that you're just going to go, whoa. And I'm not patting myself on the back of that, trust me. Doing the research, I'm going, oh my God. I couldn't believe it. As I dug more and more, I got hooked. I got hooked. What else you got for me? I know you guys got to be hungry.
Sorry, I have a follow-up question. So, obviously the locals love the book. I haven't read it yet, so please don't spoil it for me.
No, that's why we did what we did. Yeah.
So what's the feedback from law enforcement and the politicians and the people that you talk about? Have they been as supportive, or have you heard negative feedback?
Mr. Mayor, feedback. Thumbs up from the mayor. Retired trooper. Any feedback?
Not retired yet.
Whoops.
There appears to be a lot of interest in it.
Yeah.
People want to kind of behind the scenes look, and they know that the movie is made for TV, let's say.
Yeah.
And it's not that now. They really didn't, try to paint the officers in a good light. So I think Charlie's going to be a little more forthcoming and honest and not, the movie.
Where's Stefan? Stefan, does Charlie mix his words? Does Charlie call an ace an ace? Go ahead, John, answer it for him. Yeah, yeah. John, you've worked with me for a long time. I'm a no-nonsense son of a bitch, aren't I? Yeah, don't ask me a question. Don't ask me a question unless you know the answer. And don't ask me a question unless you're prepared to hear the answer, because I'm going to give it to you, regardless of how it falls. Calvin.
Charlie, you've got a wonderful book on your hands. What are you going to do next?
Look for a typist, because my typist, look at her, she's crying in the corner. Penny, my beautiful wife, oh my God, Penny. Everything on this book was handwritten, this book. And the person who created the manuscript is that little lady right back there. Wonderful. Quick. Huh?
Are you taking her on a nice vacation?
Oh, hell no, I ruin her. Spoil the girl. Quick story, all right? Quick story, you're gonna love it. One word. While these guys are doing their wiggling around in the subterranean tunnels, Matt and Sweat, they come across assorted debris, a piece of re-rod. They take a hacksaw, they sharpen the end. They create what I call a chisel-type tool. So in my writing, I'm going, and they took this piece of re-rod and they created a chisel-type tool that they were going to utilize to chip away at the concrete wall in the subterranean tunnel. I don't like the chisel-type tool. This one. her back there. So I said, well, what would you use for a word? I don't know, but I just don't like chisel type tool. I don't care. Chisel type tool. No, I want something different. Okay, give me something different. 2 days later. Couldn't wear her down. Chisel type tool. You'll know when you get to that part of the book. Think of us, 2 days, arguing about chisel type tool. Okay? Feel the girl's pain, chisel type tool. Oh my God, she's gonna kill me. She writes another book. Yes, now it says chisel like tool. Only took us 2 days to get there. Thank God we got everything else taken care of. Yes, dear.
Then you are talking to people outside of the community, like in New York City, people who have read the book and seen the show. What is the general impression of Malone and this area?
They absolutely love this area. They love the foothills. Hang on to your boots. Where's my Mr. Mayor? They absolutely love the scenery. They love the scenery. It's breathtakingly beautiful. Look out your windows. The foothills of the Adirondacks and the Adirondack Park is breathtakingly beautiful. And we talk about that a little bit. Yeah, we're banging the drum for Malone. We talked about Titus Mountain. Oh, I don't got to stop. We talk about different venues that you find here in Malone. And we bang the drum for our local community. Absolutely. Anything else? I'll take one more and then I'm going to let you fine folks have your dinners.
I think that I saw the movie and I think it's a great discredit to the correction officers.
How many correction officers here? How'd you like that movie? Would you invite Mr. Stiller up for a warm? Yeah, there's.
I think it was disgusting.
Yeah, it was absolutely disgusting. I was asked by Kensington to watch the movie and I would scream at the TV.
Yeah.
I want to thank you all very much. It's a very humbling experience. It's an absolute honor to be able to stand in front of you and talk with you today. If I haven't signed a book for you, please come see me. I'll sign a book for you. If you did not get a bookmarker, please pick up a bookmarker on your way out because the website on the back of the book is wrong. Thank you. Thank you. Like, how you been, kid? I'm sorry. You. I've been good, big guy. I've been good. And how are you? Thank you for coming here tonight. Are you good? Yes, good.
We need a picture for the help center.
Absolutely.
I got a picture I want to send you.